So for my project, I researched the 5 senses: hearing, sight, smell, taste, and touch. And there's a combined sense, a combination of senses is synesthesia. Wait, how do you do that? Oh, okay. First, I'm going to tell you about hearing. Ears convert sound waves into nerve impulses that are sent to the brain. The ears pick up the sound, but the brain does the hard work of making sense of it all. The middle ear, the place behind the eardrum, strengthens or amplifies the pressure. The middle ear also has the eustachian tube, which helps equalize the pressure and drain mucus. Sound waves are collected by the outer ear and are funneled through the ear canal to the eardrum. Sound waves cause the eardrum to vibrate. 3 bones behind the eardrum transmit the vibrations to the oral window in the inner ear. Fluid in the inner ear stimulates the nerve endings called hair cells, and then electrical signals are sent along the auditory nerve to the brain. And okay, now I'm going to tell you about hearing disorders. Deafness is the loss of hearing. And conductive hearing loss is when something blocks sound from getting in your ear. And sensorineural hearing loss is nerve damage or hair cell damage, and it is more likely to be the cause of permanent deafness. Deafness can be caused by noise, age, if the hair cells inside are damaged, or damage to the auditory nerve. And here is a picture of the hair cells. This is how it's supposed to be, and then this is after a loud noise. Now I'm going to tell you about sight. Your eyes help you detect light, and the information goes through the eyes up the optic nerve to the brain. It helps you make appropriate decisions, like if you see something flying towards your face, you're probably going to move out of the way quickly. 95% of animals have eyes. Some are very simple, just sensing light and dark, and others are very complex, like ours, sensing depth, color, and shape. Like humans, some animals with eyes have them close together to see depth better. And others, like horses, deer, mules, and other animals like those, have them on the side of their head so they can see predators coming before the predators can pounce. And the eyes on the side of their head give them a wider field of view. So the light goes through the cornea, which is the clear lens on the front of the eye. And the cornea retracts the light. The iris, the colored part of your eye, controls the size of the pupil, which is the opening for light. There is a clear lens behind the pupil that focuses on light. Here's the clear lens behind the pupil focuses on the light, and reflects it onto the retina. The retina is a thin, delicate, photosensitive tissue with photoreceptor cells that convert light to electrical signals to the optic, and that get sent through the optic nerve to the brain. Now I'm going to tell you about sight disorders. So blindness is caused by cataracts. A cataract is formed in the lens of the eye. This is a healthy lens here, and this is a clouded lens. When you get older, the lens of the eye gets cloudy. When the cataracts get worse, they get foggier, so it's like looking through a really thick fog. And although it's common for older people to get cataracts, kids get them as well. And they can be removed by having an artificial lens placed in your eye and to replace the clouded lens. Now I'm going to tell you about smell. So, vaporized odor molecules in the air reach the nostrils and dissolve in the mucus along the top, in the olfactory epithelium, which is in mucus on the nose, top of the roof of, specialized receptor cells, called olfactory receptor neurons, detect the odor. They are capable of detecting different odors, and the olfactory receptor neurons transmit to the olfactory bulbs. The olfactory bulbs have sensory receptors that are part of the brain and send signals to the most primitive brain centers and they influence memories and emotion and thought. It brings back thoughts of people, places, or events. Okay, I'm going to tell you about smell disorders. The complete absence of smell is called anosmia, and a reduced function of the sense of smell is called hyposmia. Anosmia is caused by things like Alzheimer's disease, smoking, nasal polyps, and hyposmia is caused by similar things. Now I'm going to tell you about taste. Special receptor cells makes up taste buds. One taste bud has 50 to 150 receptor cells, and there is about 10,000 taste buds in the average human. And each receptor cell lives 1 to 2 weeks and then gets replaced by a new one. They all respond to taste, but each one responds to one taste strongest. Like here in the back of your tongue, the taste buds there respond mostly to bitterness. And then on the side here it responds to sourness, then saltiness, and then the very tip of your tongue is sweetness. And then the darker pink part doesn't have that much taste buds. So, two cranial nerves innervate to tongue, and they're used for taste. The facial nerve, the cranial nerve, the facial nerve and the glossopharyngeal nerve. The facial nerve innervates the front 2/3 of the tongue, and the glossopharyngeal nerve innervates the back 1/3. Another cranial nerve carries taste information from the back of the mouth. The cranial nerves carry the information to the brain. to the nucleus of the solitary tract. From the nucleus of the solitary tract, the information goes to the thalamus, then the cerebral cortex. And like smell, it goes through the limbic system. Another cranial nerve, the pterygomenal nerve, innervates the tongue for touch, to sense pressure. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about taste disorder. Phantom taste perception is like a lingering taste, even though you have like nothing in your mouth. Like, yeah, and then there's also reduced ability to taste sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami, a condition called PYPGutzSethInquiry. Some people can't detect any taste, which is called a Gutzia. Even though it's rare to taste loss happens. People are most often people are experiencing loss of smell instead of loss of taste, because smell affects your taste as well. Now I'm going to tell you about touch. Within the skin, there are receptors that are activated by different stimuli. When it's activated, it triggers nerve impulses. For a person to feel the stimulus, the nerve impulses must make their way up to the brain. Now I'm going to show you a short video.
It's not hyperlock for some reason. Maybe.
Maserati. Don't skip it. Don't. Oh, that was Maserati. This is what we spend our time making. Making this video. Oh my. This is ridiculous. Really? Oh, is that you, Seth? When did you do this photo shoot?
Okay. So, there's special receptor cells in the dermis that sense different things. So, they can sense heat, light touch, pain, cold, and then there's nerves connected to the hair to feel something like brush up against your hair, and then there's strong pressure. So, yeah. There's loss of pressure sensitivity, elevated pinpoint discrimination, and loss of vibratory sense, or deflects in proprioception. The causes are unknown. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you about synesthesia. It is a condition where which one sense, for example hearing, is simultaneously perceived as it's like combined with another, such as sight. So you might hear a certain sound and then see a color, or you might see a picture of something and then hear a noise related to that. Another form of synesthesia joins objects such as letters, shapes, numbers, people's names with sensory perceptions such as smell, color, or flavor. And the word synesthesia comes from two Greek words, syn, together, and athesis. Synesthesia means joint perception. And here, a person might see a number as this. And for this, I interviewed Marin and Ufu to see what color they thought of when I thought of a number in a certain type of touch. So they see a certain color with a number, like 1 is orange, 2 is blue, 3 is purple, 6 is pink, 8 is green, and red is 0. Those are examples. And then...
Seth, would you again, because I think everyone's kind of tuned in here and interested in what you said, what is synesthesia again? Slowly, and so we can kind of hear.
It is a combination of two different senses.
It's a combination of two different senses, for example?
Like you see numbers and you hear something and you see a color. Or here you feel like pain, you think of a color, you feel like you feel pain, you think of a color, or you see a color. So it's like combining touch with sight, or hearing with sight, or
So what you're saying here is, if you see a number, you experience a color. If you see a 5, you actually experience the color orange, for example. Or if you see a word, you experience something that goes with the word. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, this is I was doing like types of touch. Like there's pain, so you like get pinched. Then you think of a color, and Marin and Nufu thought of red. And then they feel something like cold, like you get an ice bucket, and you think they thought of blue. Then for heat, they thought of orange. Then for pressure, they thought of purple, and light touch, they thought of a light gray.
Well, yes, I think when you talk about Mozart, he saw architecture, he heard music. So it combines sight with hearing. They're connected in weird, unusual ways. I mean, some of you have it in the room. Probably never thought about it before. But you look at a building, you can hear music that goes with it. It's an unusual kind of combination of senses.
And so it's on this back side of your handout, this page this page, it has a synesthesia thing with different numbers. So, the end. Noted. Questions?
Question you guys.
D?
Why do dogs see in black and white colors if other people see in light colors?
I don't know. Marco?
About the sight, how long does it take for you to see something after it happens?
Probably less than a second, because, I just saw it. And raise your hand if you think it's all of the above. Okay, all of the above is yes.
Because I just kept my
Alzheimer's and smoking.
Oh yeah.
And Alzheimer's disease is when
polyps.
you don't remember things.
How am I supposed to know what nasal means?
Nasal.
Oh.
What's nasal?
Okay.
I haven't seen that in the dictionary.
Okay. What nerve sends sight signals to the brain? Raise your hand if you think it was the olfactory nerve. Raise your hand if you think it was the facial nerve. Optic nerve? And oral nerve? Okay, optic nerve is correct. Okay, well there, in the skin are the heat sensory nerves in. raise your hand if you think it was the dermis. Dermis, yeah.
Oh,
Epidermis.
What about the epidermis? Raise your hand if you wrote something other. Yeah, okay. The ear canal? Ear guitar? Okay. It is hair cells. The answer is hair cells. The eardrum doesn't stop the vibration, but the hair cells stimulate and amplify.
Question was
Okay.
specific.
What does the tip of your tongue taste?
Well, we kind of have a picture.
Sweet? I know. Bitter?
Central idea of beginning.
The 5 senses each have a certain nerve or nerves that and the nerve is a whole system throughout the whole entire body that connect to the brain, and they interact with lots of other systems like the digestive system and the circulatory system, and it's sort of also going through the structure and the bone structure and through the body.